Team Rocket is the core villainous team of Pokemon, and at its head is the one and only Giovanni, a character who appears so many times throughout the series that you could maybe consider him the Bowser of Pokemon, and a character with a surprising amount of depth beneath the surface. I used to not give a whole lot of thought to Giovanni, but over the years I found myself more and more fascinated by him as a character. He truly is the Pokemon antagonist in more ways than one. Others may have left a greater mark or impression on you, but Giovanni is the original at the end of the day. Today, I'm going on a deep dive into Giovanni, particularly about the case of his disappearance after his defeat at the Viridian City Gym. I'll be exploring a handful of sources examining his personality and treatment toward the player and others to ultimately identify the real reason why he up and left over his defeat. While the answer may seem obvious, closer analysis can reveal some deeper motives than you may think. So without further ado, and any more intro rambling, let's start by taking a look at Giovanni's personality throughout all of his iterations. Giovanni's core personality always remains the same, though there are some minor differences across his various appearances. In Red, Blue, and Yellow, he shows an unrelenting lack of respect for the trainer character up until the Viridian City Gym match. This is about the same in Fire Red and Leaf Green, but then there's a very slight but notable change in the Let's Go games. In Gens 1 and 3, after defeating Giovanni for the first time in the Rocket hideout, he simply leaves the Silph Scope on the table after leaving for the player to just take. However, in the case of Let's Go, he actually directly hands it to the player as he says it's an apology for mocking them. I find this to be an interesting change since it's almost completely inconsequential for the structure of the game, but gives us a bit more of Giovanni's soft side. He holds a strong, arrogant, prideful personality, but he still harbors respect for those who are able to defeat him, even if he underestimates them initially. By the end, no matter what version you're playing, Giovanni respects the player so much that he states he wishes to meet them again one day. This, to me, maybe even tells us that Giovanni has grown to like the player, even a little bit, as somebody who can truly challenge him even at his strongest. And with that, let's segue into discussing the case of Team Rocket's disbandment, moments after his defeat in Viridian City. As we all know, Giovanni once and for all declares Team Rocket disbanded after his final defeat in the Viridian City Gym. The reason presented to us is always that he's so embarrassed by his loss against the player, he cannot show himself again to Team Rocket. I'll be honest, this has always been silly to me. This man lost to the player already twice before, but it's the third time. Oh no, if you lose a third time to a 10-year-old, then you have to skip town and never show your face again. To be honest, I don't think this is the entire reason Giovanni shut down Team Rocket. He might say that it is, but I don't think that this guy would throw away all of his life's work of building this criminal organization over losing to some kid. And if he would, I think he would have done it like the second time he lost. Point is, I believe there's more going on beneath the surface. He's not telling us the whole story. And to really know what's going on inside that mafia boss head, we need to know what he's thinking. Lucky for us, I have just the thing. Okay, I know this is questionably canon material, but honestly, to me, this is canon enough. If we use the games as a record of what Giovanni says out loud to you during and after the battle, I like to use this as a record of what he was thinking during the battle. This is the final showdown between Red and Giovanni in the Pokemon Origins miniseries, which was a series I personally really loved. This is a glimpse into the way Giovanni truly views the player, not just as a strong trainer or somebody capable of beating him, but he sees a reflection of his younger self. He used to throw his Pokeball just like you. He used to care about his Pokemon just like you. And perhaps if he had gone down a different path in life, he could have been like you too. When did it all change, he ponders? When did he stop viewing Pokemon as partners, but just as tools? When I first saw this in the show, I swear my jaw dropped. I actually cried a little. Yeah, I'm weird and emotional, but I did. This is such a humanizing moment for Giovanni, seeing his entire view get twisted around and seeing himself in the child that's managed to best him. This brings an entire new layer to Giovanni disbanding Team Rocket and running off. He didn't just get beaten thrice by a kid. He got beaten thrice by a kid that reminds him far too much of the way he used to be too. This is why I think there's far more to Giovanni than what the games tell us. Maybe he wasn't too embarrassed to face Team Rocket, but rather his changed perspective caused him to want to shut down such a foul criminal organization for good. When he leaves to go train and study Pokemon, maybe he's doing so to better himself and his relationship with his Pokemon, striving to be more like the player character. Striving to be like the person his younger self would look up to. And maybe he wants to see you again someday so he can show you how much he's changed. And well, that's my theory. But of course, with all theories, there are flaws and plot holes, so let's take a second to look at those flaws and address them. The first and biggest issue you can bring up is very simple. Origins is not canon content. And honestly, I'm just ignoring that one. I have two reasons for doing so. One, I find this to be a fantastic glimpse into Giovanni's mind that we do not get in the games, and I find it to be enriching to his character in a purely positive way. Second, there isn't anything in the games that contradict Giovanni having these thoughts. However, there is something that can contradict my theory that Giovanni left to better himself. Heart Gold and Soul Silver. In these remakes, the added Celebi time travel event gives us new scenes featuring Giovanni, including both him leaving Silver, and here's the real kicker, him literally going to respond to the Team Rocket radio takeover. And no, he wasn't just going there to tell them to go home and cut it out. He specifically stated that he was going there to join them. You old man. That's kind of a deal breaker in my idea that he shut down the whole thing to become a better person, but I do have one counterpoint to this hole in my theory. This was something entirely missing from the original Johto games. In Gold, Silver, and Crystal, Giovanni does not show up to answer the radio tower. Is that because Ethan actually was time traveling and fighting him in a random cave, but we just don't know about it? Maybe, but as far as we know, that event wasn't written until the remakes. Does that mean it's canon still? Well, I guess, as much as I hate to admit it, but I still feel that until that event was created, the original vision was for Giovanni to completely ignore the radio call. Maybe because he set off to become a better person, because I like that version of the story better. And well, that's it. It was a shorter video, but this has been on my mind recently, and I honestly just really wanted to make a video about it. So thank you so much for watching it and listening to me ramble on about this, random old Pokemon man. Well, he's not really random, he's Giovanni, you all know who he is, but it's a different perspective on him, so I hope you all enjoyed hearing it. And honestly, if you haven't watched Pokemon Origins, I can't recommend it enough. It's a really fun, super short mini-series, and it's just really good nostalgic Kanto content, and it has really good content of both red and blue as well. So once again, thank you all for watching and listening to me, and I honestly want to cover a little bit more of like the Pokemon villains, and talk about them in more depth like I did here with Giovanni, so I'm gonna probably look into making some more videos about maybe Team Aqua, Team Magma, and we'll see where we go. Okay, thanks for watching everyone, have a great day.